Hello and welcome to Babbles Travelling Yarns podcast. How are you doing today? This is a crafty podcast about knitting, about spinning, about weaving, about fibre in general. And I am based in Ireland. I'm based in Limerick in Ireland. Some new people have joined me recently, and I just want to say hello especially to you if you've just joined. Thank you so much for popping over to my little world of craft. I love it that you're here. Thank you so much. I hope I don't scare you away. I think there's a little cat around. Either that or I've got a ghost. Nope, it's my cat. It's my cat Beans. My black cat Beans. He's a Maine Coon cross. He's adorable and very bold. I love him so much. Hey Beans, come say hi to the new people and the old people. That's not working. Damn it. It's also smart. Ugh, the worst. I'm drinking a power smoothie because I've just got home from work. And I have not had time to do podcast or do anything for a long time. Actually, just the podcast. I've been busy doing everything else. So this is my dinner. I'm about to head out to knit night tonight at about 7 o'clock. Oh, here's Beans. Oh, come on, Beans. They want to see you. Oh, I wonder will he fall asleep on my lap? I don't think he's in that mood. He's been on his own all day, so now he's super excited. But look at his pretty face. Look at your pretty face, Beans. Hey, Beans. Stop looking down. Look up. His posture is terrible. That's just bad. I'll have to send him to some sort of standing up lessons. What are they called? Comportment. Kitty comportment. And they'd have a tiny little walkway. They'd be like, yeah, that's my opinion too of comportment. I don't have it. Yeah. So I have lots to talk about today. I don't know if I'm going to fit it all into 1 hour. I was thinking about splitting it up. So I think today I'm going to talk about all of my knitting. And then I'm going to record a separate video about spinning. And then maybe some events. We'll see. I literally think I need to tell you all about my knitting though, because oh my god, there's a lot of it. So, okay, now that I've just decided to do that, I'm going to put my spinning away, even though I'm so proud of it. You'll have to catch on for the spinning because I'm just so proud. So proud. First off, what am I wearing? I am wearing the Frozen shawl, which was a mystery knit along by Nordic Stitches. And it was knit out of my own yarn, Babbles yarn, which you can find on Instagram as Babbles Yarns and on Etsy as Babbles Yarns and also on my website, babblestravelingyarns.com. So this one, this is in my Bless Your Cotton Socks base, and this kind of warm grey is the same moon, and then this purple section, seed stitch section, is August Sunset. It is being held in place by this stunning penannular pin, which I bought at Edinburgh from the wonderful Ancoitin Bjug. And this is one of her little beaten ones. So they have little, it's like, you can see there, it's not perfect. It's like hand beaten. Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. So she is Ancoitin Bjug. And if you don't know who I'm talking about and you pronounce this completely differently, this is her actual name. And you can find her on Instagram, and I believe she has her own shop. Instagram, that's the best place for her. On Coiteen Bjug. And that's how I pronounce it because I pronounce Irish in the Munster dialect. And then Kate up in Belfast would call it on Cateen Beg. Beg? Dang, I can't do it. There's so many different dialects of Irish, and there's so many different accents in Ireland, but most people probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. But that's okay because you don't live here and you don't have to know the difference, so it's fine. If you want to really hear the difference between accents in Ireland, I have a podcast that is about Atlantic Knitscape, where I do a little podcast with Catherine, who is from my neck of the woods, from Limerick, and then Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Craft, and she's from Belfast. So Kate has a very different accent to myself and Catherine. And it's interesting to kind of see if people can hear the difference, because we obviously can. But anyway, so that is what I'm wearing. Now, this was knit for me by the wonderful Barbara of Knitting I Love, who has her own podcast and her own shop. She has a shop that makes these beautiful little, oh, what's at the back? She makes these beautiful little felt little tags, and she also makes pouches and coasters. I've got so many of her things. I love these coasters. So that's upside down. So I have these scattered all around the house, so I'm never without a needle gauge. And she also makes these lovely little things for tagging, for little key rings to put onto your project bags so you know what's in them. This one says socks, because I'm going to be talking about this later. So that is Barbara from Knitting I Love. So I think I've done all the shout outs now for this particular shawl. Isn't it kind of amazing how many people are involved in making something? You know? Like, it's actually amazing. And when you work with small businesses, small one-person businesses often, like with like most of knitting, it really is a one-person business, especially indie dye business and stuff like that. You are just, you know, there are Nordic Stitches was the design, I was the dyer, and then Barbara was the knitter. And then An Coitín Beag was this pin. So that's 4 people involved. And then there was a bag that she knitted in. You know what I mean? That's 5 people who made this one piece of shawl. So that's exactly where my yarn came from. Where my design came from. And the sheep that it came off of. But yeah. Yeah, so 7 minutes in and I haven't talked about actually what I'm knitting. So I have no finished objects. Shh, shh, stop it. Stop with the judging. Nobody's judging me. Nobody cares. I'm going to talk about things in order of, sure, I don't know, when I cast them on maybe. And this is good actually, because it means that I can get them out and they might be, I might do them again. So I bought this kit from An Coitín Beag, from Marna from An Coitín Beag, who made this pin. She also organises these kits, and she illustrated these little sinister kitties. So I bought a kit from her, and it was her first pattern, and it's the Peaky Cat socks. So the Peaky Cat socks is a DK weight sock, which is designed for Mary Jane shoes. And the idea is that the little kitty face would peek out over the little Mary Jane shoes. Now I have these shoes for work, and I just love the idea. So I bought the whole kit off her from Woolen. So I got this beautiful bag. It's really sturdy zip, gold. I like it. And I bought so there's a couple of colors you can buy this in. I bought the blue, green and grey colour because they're my colours. I love those colours, and that's okay. And the yarn is from Socks Yeah, Coop Knits. Socks Yeah, DK. Yeah. So it's 75/25 superwash merino wool and nylon. Okay. I'm knitting these tiny socks on 9-inch circulars, on Chow Gu 9-inch circulars, and I'm getting on really well with them actually. Well, I was before I finished. So I did the heel and everything on them, on the one, which was handy. So the kit comes with the yarn, the pattern, the bag, and the stitch markers that she has bought, and also, oh no, that's my scissors. I was like, I don't think I have the scissors on this. But you've got this little stitch marker kit. Get your knit on! I love these kitties. So you can get a choice of happy kitties or evil kitties. These are evil kitties because they have just normal kitty faces, and kitties are a little bit evil, but also fabulous. We know this. And then these are the happy kitties. Happy kitties! Happy kitties! I chose a happy kitty. Happy kitty! So, I have this habit of knitting for too long because I love knitting. So I end up making a very long leg and long kitty faces. So these kitty faces are too long and this green one is too short, is the right amount. Actually no, I think only the top one is wrong. So I've actually been, I hope I have enough yarn, that's the only thing. I think I will. So I did a short row heel. I can't remember if I did German short rows. I think I did German short row heel on this. And I'm just knitting around and around. And I'm about to start the big kitty face now. And I kind of stopped because I wanted to see where I needed to put it. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to try on the sock and then try on my shoe and see, blah, blah, blah. And I just never did. You know, when there's like that extra step of like, oh, what do I do now? Anyway, I'm also scared that it will just end up being the one sock because, you know, one sock, single sock syndrome, it's real. I have a problem with it. But doesn't it look so pretty? I do want these socks, and they're going to be really thick, lovely, scrunchy socks for the autumn and winter. Kitty socks, kitty socks. And I just love these colours so much. The pattern is really, really well written. Everything is beautifully designed. Well done, Marna. It's gorgeous. I love it. I am actually making sure, because colourwork socks have a reputation of being quite tight. So what I was actually doing was knitting this inside out. Some people will be like, I don't get it. My brain is exploding. Literally, I'm doing this. I push it through like this. And this helps you when you're bringing your floats around. It just gives you extra little millimeters of yarn that you're using, which gives you a little bit of extra stretchiness. So when you're knitting it then, you're not knitting it you're not purling the whole time. You're not doing that. You're turning it around. So you are knitting this side. This is probably, I'm really bad at tutorials. This is the best that you're going to get. I'm not going to do a dedicated tutorial. I just can't. But I'll just see if you can see from this. So, see? On the inside of the tube is a stockinette. And I am just going to be knitting from that side. Like, that's literally it. And if you're doing color work, you just hold, well, however you do color work, I hold it in two hands, and I knit with one, and then I pick with the other. Oh, except I haven't done this in a while, so my hands aren't used to the small needle size. So yeah, I turned it out the right way to do the heel, just because it was a bit easier to figure it out in my head. But when I'm doing the color work, I will be turning it inside out again and doing it that way. I don't know if you can tell the difference, but for the first kitty, I didn't do that. I knit it normally. And then this one here, I turned the whole thing inside out, and it's very minute, the difference, but I think you can see that, see these parts here that are stretching? It's a little bit, oh, maybe I've offset. Anyway, I feel like versus, yeah, now you can see. Okay, so that's as far as I can pull it, and then this much farther. So just gives an extra bit of stretch in your sock if you knit them inside out. But you're still knitting, you're just not knitting from the close side, you're knitting from the side that's away from you in a circle. Right? Cool. Don't ask me any more questions. I can't give you any more details on that. I have a couple of tutorials that I'm thinking about doing, but I still think that I'm not the best person to do them. I'm sure there's better people out there. Anyway, I don't have the kit and the setup to show you properly because I don't have it. I can't afford it. You know those tripods that actually turn down and go over you so you can see? Like, they cost €300. I don't have €300. If you really want me to do a proper tutorial, send me €300 and I'll buy that nice tripod and we can do it. Honesty. So, now, that is my Peaky Cat socks. I love them. They have been put down though, because I was going to the cinema. I went to see that film Solo, that Star Wars film. Really good. I want to see it again. So I went to see Solo and I said, shoot, I need a sock to do it. And I decided to pull out some beautiful Felici socks that was sent to me by my friend Shamika. I feel like there's smoothie everywhere. It's fine. Now, I don't know this. I think it's like tropical something or other, mojito maybe. I'm not sure what color this is at all. But it's Felici. Stripy Felici. So soft. Too soft for socks. I'm going to alternate. I'm going to put in like a white toe and a white heel in Regia that I have up there. So that's fine. Regia. Let's go Molly on this. Regia. So I started doing this really, really cute, fun thing. And then I realized these were supposed to be cinnamon knitting, Grace. So you'll see where I did my cinnamon knitting. I'll explain. Let me explain. Oh, why am I? Oh, I'm in the middle of a row. Nah. So I started doing this lovely little slip stitch pattern just on the swap of the colours. And it just brings out the colours differently because with Felici, there is a kind of a tendency to, the colours are a little bit similar. So if they were going straight into each other, you wouldn't super differentiate them. So I love this little slip stitch detail. It's really simple. You just slip one, knit three, slip one, knit three, just as you're about to change colour. So you're bringing the old colour into the new colour. And of course, then I was cinnamon knitting and I couldn't see when that was. And I'm like, I'm going to have to rip back and just do that little bit. It's not going to be much. It's going to be fine. But it's annoying. So that's why these have been put down. But that's fine. I am knitting a 60 stitch sock around, and these are Hiya Sharps 2.5 millimeters, which is a little bit loose for my gauge now, but they're the needles I have, so they'll do. I don't care. They are in my Knitting Goddess bag. You don't have time to knit. I don't have time to listen to nonsense. With my little logo badge, my Babbles Yarns badge. I love it. They're still available in the shop. I think there's about 20 left in the shop. If you want to go and buy one for your collection. My collection is growing mightily at the moment, so that's really awesome. Where am I putting the stuff? Oh, okay. Now, right. So the next project has had a couple of iterations. And yeah, so let's just talk about the bag that it's in first, because I love this bag so much. This is my Emerald Fibers bag. It's beautiful. It's squidgy. I've been using it as a handbag on my recent, tour guiding duties. James's parents were over, so we went around. It was really cool. And I found this badge in work. Like, obviously it came off my bag and then it was like up on my manager's desk because someone had lost it. I was like, that's obviously mine, unless someone else knows Yarnisty, who's Anna Freyberg, the designer. So now it's on this bag because I was like, oh shoot, save it. I don't want to lose it. So that was lucky. So I am knitting a pattern I've knit before. It is the Drift Jumper by Kristen Finlay. And I'm knitting it out of Ninja Chicken sock blanks. The 2 sock blanks that I had started, the Ada sweater by LB Hand Knits. But it just wasn't working. I actually cast on a size too big because when I was knitting it, I was measuring it. My problem is I didn't swatch. Okay, I didn't swatch. That was my fault. I'm sorry. Also, it is a sock blank, so it's going to block out a little bit bigger because the yarn is just a little kinky. So when it's blocked, it is going to be a little bit bigger. So I decided I needed a sweater with a large gauge, a summer kind of sweater, a large gauge, kind of lacy open work. And yeah, and I knew that I loved the drift, and I was getting really frustrated with how many times I'd ripped out the other one and it just wasn't working, and I was just like, I'm so cross. And it was just a mismatch between the pattern and the yarn. That's fine. But this just flew off the needles. Beans is eating something he shouldn't be. Maybe he's okay. So this is how far I've got. This pattern flies off the needles. This has been going, this is about 2 weeks. Like, right? So I will just talk about this for a minute. So I have been alternating all the way down. I've had 2 sock blanks and I've been alternating every row all the way down using a technique called jogless join, a jogless join. And that's the one that people have asked me to do a tutorial on, and I feel like I should, but I can't do it with this yarn because it's too similar, you won't be able to see. But maybe look up a jogless join if you're interested. See if there's something on the internet. Jogless join with 2 alternating colours. Yeah, so I did the yoke all the way down. Now the yoke is a very simple eyelet pattern. Really simple eyelet pattern, but the yoke, the way it increases, is super smart and so easy to do. I did it in, I figured out my numbers. I remembered my numbers from the last time. Off I went. I did increase another row, and just for a little bit more space in the shoulders, because I do have quite broad shoulders and a little bit of, you know, useful chubby flubbiness under the arms, which is fine. And then I decided, hey, I'm gonna chuck a few short rows in there because that's what some people do. So I added some short rows, and I was chatting with Ellie from Skein-Deer. Well, actually, I put out the question. I asked her, I was like, Ellie, where do I put the short rows? Do I put it before I separate for the sleeves or after? And she was like, before. So I was like, cool, you're great. Handy to have on speed dial. So my short rows started about here, nipples. Short rows start at the nipples, and then they went around the back. So you probably won't be able to see them at all because I've just created a wedge here around the back just to bring the back of the neck up a little bit when it's on me. So hopefully that'll work. I have tried it on. I haven't blocked it yet, obviously, because it's still wriggledy-piggledy. I tried it on a couple of times, and I have had to rip back so far twice. I only have 2 sock blanks, so it's about 200 grams of yarn, of fingering weight yarn, so 800 meters. So I'm trying to get as much out of this as possible. This is on a very large gauge. It is, I'm knitting this on 5mm needles, and I haven't blocked the yarn, so I can't give you exactly stitches per inch. Hopefully I will at the end, or maybe if I feel like it. Yeah, so I had decreased to about there and then stopped and then let it go down, but I was running out of yarn really fast, and I was not happy with the fit. It was very big when I tried it on. So then I went and I decreased all the way down to my actual waist, which is actually quite low. I stopped decreasing here, and I'm increasing a little bit here just to give me space for my hips, because I feel like it's going to be that long now. Let me just boop, 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 boop. Hey, come back here. So this is my natural waist. So that is where the last marker is. So that'll be fine. And if it drops, that's okay too. So I'm basically going to knit until I'm finished those 2 balls of yarn. These are this is what's left in this. Yeah, so this is what is left. So I'm just going to keep on going. Now, I had been going to add in this beautiful sock blank from Mon Sheep Shop, but I just the pink wasn't working with the browny, tanny yellowiness. I put it up on Instagram and people were like, oh, I like the colours. I don't. So I'm going to have to wear it. So I ripped that back, and it was only about 4 inches probably. But because it's quite a large gaze, it's easy to knit up again, and it's just round and round. So it's not like a big deal, even though it was the 4th time I'd ripped this particular piece. This yarn has held up so well to being ripped out so many times. Yeah, so I'm going to knit all the way to the end. And then what I'm going to do is, I have this beautiful skein, Eden Cottage Yarns. It is Oakworth 4-ply, 100% superwash New Zealand Polwarth wool, and the Whispering Grass colorway, machine washable. So they're both superwash, so that'll be fine. This one doesn't have any nylon, and these ones do, but I don't think it'll affect the blocking at all. So Whispering Grass, matched with Ninja Chicken's naturally dyed sock blanks. Match made in heaven? I think so. I only have one of these, and I bought it 2 years ago at Edinburgh Yarn Festival 2017, and I just wanted to buy some because I hadn't ever seen Eden Cottage Yarns before, so I was just like, grab something. And nothing really in my stash was matching until these came through, and I realized yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up all the stitches around the sleeves and knit a little sleeve, maybe just do ribbing depending on how I feel, and then do the ribbing at the bottom as well. So I'm going to run out of this yarn and then do, yeah, I'm going to run out of the main yarn, and then I'm just going to start the ribbing down there and do a nice ribbing until I get to however long I want the piece to be. The last drift I made was a bit short, and I want this to be nice and long and, you know, warm for my kidneys. And then the sleeves, I might do ribbing all the way down the arms. We'll see. I might just do short sleeves, but I'm not sure. I think these sleeve holes are quite big, so I might need to reduce down the size of them a bit. Beans, stop it. Or I might just do a cast off there. But my arm's a bit cold and the rest of me a bit warm. I don't know. I might just do a cast. I don't know. It's quite large. I feel like if I do a rib, it'll be like a big boofy, like puffy sleeve. And, you know, as nice as they were in the 80s, they deserve to stay there. Just saying. So yeah, that's what I'm working on. Mostly, that's what I'm carting around with me the whole time. I've re-knit that about 6 times. Yeah, that's the way it goes. I used to be one of these people who never goes back, but for beautiful yarn like Maria's, like it's just too beautiful to mess around with, you know. So, oh, I have one last thing I want to talk to you about. I cast on something for James's birthday. It was James's 30th birthday, and he bought this beautiful skein of yarn from Gamer Crafting, and it's this beautiful skein. In the skein, it looked like it was like it's dip dyed, so it's got this grey black with a bit of a black speckle on one end of the skein, and then the other end of the skein it has this red. So it's actually micro striping with a bit of a flash, which is really cool because the yarn is called the Vader's Lightsaber, I think. Yes. Oh, yes. So it's a 75/25 100 gram sock. Vader's Lightsaber on Gamer Crafting. And James bought this at Woolen, and it was, oh, and she also gave me these gorgeous stitch markers. So, welcome to the dark side with this little planet. Welcome to the dark side, little star, little planet, and a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So I'm not sure whether to keep these socks, to try and rib these socks to make sure they fit in properly, or to just leave them plain, because I have no plain socks for cinema knitting and I want to go back to cinema. But the last socks that I made for him were, this is a 70s 2-stitch sock. So the last socks I made were Afterthought Everything. And what were you eating? Beans has stuff on his face. Oh, it's yogurt. Right. Such a bad kitty, Mom. Step it, this is my yogurt. Smoothie. Grey, purple smoothie. Beans, are you just gonna, am I just gonna have to hold this now? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's micro striping with this flash that's going to come up. But of course that's going to change now when my ribbon, so it looks like these with this kind of flash. So I'm going to keep going for about 2 inches and then decide what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to do rib or whether I'm just going to do plain socks. Cute. So cute. Now, eyes. Look at your eyes. You can't help but look at your eyes because you're looking through them. So yeah, I don't know, these are just kind of standard sock. So that's fun. That's fun. So 31 minutes. I think I'm going to leave that short and sharp at the moment because I'm going to do some separate videos on different things that I've been talking about. The next video series that I'm going to do is going to be about my spinning adventures in... Excuse me, Beans. I'm talking. It's going to be about my spinning adventures, spinning a gradient, my new colorway that's out for Tour de Fleece, my plans for Tour de Fleece, and my experiences with bast yarns, especially... Beans! Stop. And my experiences with bast yarns, which is mostly flax, only flax. I've been playing with that and I'm having a great time with it. So I hope to see you then. If you want to follow me, you can subscribe by clicking the button. If you want to get notifications of when I put up videos, you can click the little bell and I think you'll get emails and notifications on your phone or wherever you're working. I think it's emails. I get emails from Amy. I think I've subscribed to that. Anyway, it's another option if you want to know what's happening. And oh, you can follow me on Instagram as Vanna Willamille and Babbles Yarns. And I also have a Ravelry group and you can pop over there to introduce yourself, tell me where you're from, what you're up to. And there's also a Ask Me Anything thread if you're interested, if you want me to answer any questions. If you have any particular questions about me, that is where you should head. Yeah, so awesome. Oh, click thumbs up if you want as well, because that's nice. Okay, bye.